All right, what's going on, everybody? So E3 is over, and that was very dry. I'm gonna be honest with y'all. Like E3 without Sony is like pizza without sauce, man. Like this was very dry. And as someone else put it, as Broken Games HD, very um a relatively big YouTuber, as he put it, it's unseasoned chicken. Like without Sony, we see how terrible E3 is without Sony. But I don't even think Sony's absence was even the biggest issue here. I mean, yeah, it would have been nice to see what Sony would have brought, but the biggest issue, and I think a lot of people can agree with this, is the lack of gameplay. It's all these CGI trailers. And the fact that Nintendo won for the first time ever in E3 history, the fact that they did the best out of everybody, it says something about developers and about E3. And there's a lot I want to discuss about E3 in general, but I will say this, Square Enix, I said this in the Nintendo conference review, but Nintendo won just off of gameplay, and they won off of gameplay and the variety of games that they showed. There was something for everybody, even me. I don't care who you are. There was something for everybody at that Nintendo Direct. And Square Enix, they could have won. Like I said in that other video I did, Square Enix could have won. They showed gameplay for Final Fantasy VII. That's the most anticipated game right there. And I'm looking forward to it, even though I've never played Final Fantasy VII. I can't wait to experience the story for the first time because people said it's really good. And Avengers, another big game. Like, those were the two games that people were looking forward to the most. And you didn't show gameplay of the Avengers. You showed gameplay to people behind closed doors. That's not, like, what's that gonna do for me? And there's a problem with E3 now. And y'all might think I'm exaggerating here, but I'll see what you guys think in the comment section below. But I think that E3, it's losing its relevance, and it's kind of clear, with developers. Like, we had THQ Nordic, right? THQ Nordic, and it was some other developer. Hopefully it'll come to me. But THQ Nordic, before E3, I want to say like a week or two before E3, developers are starting to drop announcements for their games. Like, I believe Ubisoft did their announcement, I believe like 2 weeks before E3 for Ghost Recon Breakpoint. And then a week before E3, and y'all can correct me if I'm wrong, THQ Nordic, they did announcements for the games. They did announcements for several games. Remaster of SpongeBob, Darksiders, and I think it was a remaster of Destroy All Humans. And I think that was it. But y'all get what I'm saying. Like, there's so many developers that are putting out crap before E3. Like the Pokemon Company, they don't really have as much of a presence at E3 as a lot of fans would like. But they, like, I want to say maybe a week or two before E3, they did a direct for Pokemon. Why didn't they just save that for Nintendo Direct at E3? Why didn't they just save it for that moment? Like, a lot of stuff happening before E3. A lot of companies are putting their stuff before E3, and that's kind of undercutting E3. And then you have the leaks, you have the rumors. And I got this article up for a reason, actually, because this article is saying, hey, developers don't want to show their gameplay, and the reason why the article claims that developers don't want to show their gameplay and that we're getting these CGI trailers, well, it's our fault. It's our fault. It's gamers' fault, right? It's the gamers, it's the general public, it's YouTubers like me that it's YouTubers that have basically criticized games. So, like, the article mentions the backlash. It mentions the backlash when Ubisoft, y'all remember the downgrade for Watch Dogs, and y'all remember the downgrade, like the graphical downgrade for games like Anthem, Witcher 3, The Division. The list goes on. And the article basically states that, okay, developers, they don't want that backlash because, fans, we see one thing on stage, we see the vertical slice, right? What they call a vertical slice. We see that on stage. And then the end product that we get is totally different from what they showed us on stage. And then, later on, people on YouTube, they're going to criticize those developers. They're going to do videos basically breaking down how developers have lied about certain things. But it's funny because there was a line, there was something that somebody said during the conference, I want to say it was either Ubisoft or Bethesda's conference. And the article also mentions this. This line right here. Nobody smells BS like this particular community. And here's the thing. All developers have to do really is kind of make it clear. And they always put that little tagline there that, this stuff that you're seeing in the game is subject to change. Like with Ubisoft. Ubisoft did a Watch Dogs, they showed the gameplay for Watch Dogs 3, for Watch Dogs Legion. And with a lot of gameplay, with a lot of stuff that we see there, we see that tagline, we see that little disclaimer at the bottom that says the gameplay and stuff you're seeing, all that stuff is subject to change. And we see that tagline, so we get it. But it's like, if you're promising all this other stuff, like with Anthem, they promise so much. With Destiny, they promise so much. When you promise all this stuff and you don't deliver on it, I think gamers, I think YouTubers, we have every right to criticize these companies and hold them accountable for delivering on their vision. And I get it, game development, that's very difficult thing. I can tell y'all that it's very difficult. And on the scale of what they're doing, on what a lot of these companies want to do, because they're very ambitious and they want to do these live services and stuff. Yeah, it's very hard. It's not like we don't get it. But it's like, at the same time, another reason why I think E3 is kind of losing its relevance outside of developers just announcing their stuff beforehand and putting out gameplay and stuff beforehand, before E3, is leaks and rumors. I mean, it's something that you can't avoid. Like last year, it was like it was Walmart Canada, and then this year it was like Amazon UK with the Watch Dogs Legion leak, and I believe they leaked some I believe they leaked a THQ Nordic game also. And then there are just rumors out there, it's like people don't give a crap about their jobs because they're just putting their stuff out there. We had the rumors about Great Rune, and Great Rune ended up being the George R.R. Martin game, what's it called? Elden Ring. That leaked out there. There was a rumor for a while for that. But, it sucks. It sucks that E3 used to be this. E3 just used to feel a lot bigger than this. And like I said, it could be the absence of Sony, because Sony usually has a lot of big bombshell announcements. Usually they screwed up last year, but in years prior, like I want to say the last 4 or 5 E3s have been pretty good, because Sony has really stepped up. Well, stepped up is the wrong phrase. I mean, they've always done good. But I mean, that E3 in 2015, I think that's the one that a lot of people really remember, and I think it kind of sticks out, because we had the Final Fantasy VII announcement, Crash. We had so many big announcements that year. But with this year, it was just a lot of CGI trailers. Like, even with new IPs, and that's another thing. There wasn't a lot of new IPs. And what little new IPs there were, we weren't getting gameplay. We were getting like CGI trailers like this. I'm like, what am I supposed to do with this, guys? How am I supposed to get excited excited for this, right? It's just a CGI trailer. That's all it is. That's all it is. And I saw some people saying that this was like a most anticipated game for them, because they know about the studio and stuff. This is the same studio that did Gears of War Judgment and Bulletstorm. But I'm sorry, what I saw here, it don't look interesting to me. And I can't really write the game off because I haven't seen gameplay. But this is like, it's not doing anything for me. And as much as I like Arcane, this game Deathloop that they showed off, the last game was Outriders that I just showed. This game Deathloop by Arcane Studios. The premise sounds good. Arcane, they are one of my favorite developers, and they're really good at immersive sim gameplay. They're really good at gameplay using powers and stuff like that. But it's like CGI trailer, guys. CGI, because we don't want to show y'all gameplay, and that sucks. That sucks. I remember I was talking to my brother. I was talking to somebody. It was either my brother or one of my friends. But I've just been discussing E3 with people, right? And I remember years ago we would get these on stage, demos. Like they would take time out of their conference, right? Maybe like three or like 5 minutes or whatever out of their conference to show you gameplay of a game. I remember when I remember Ubisoft would basically go through gameplay of Assassin's Creed. Or I remember that one year where like Microsoft, even though it was a bad showing, Scalebound, they were showing off Scalebound, they would show off games in the middle of the conference. I remember Uncharted 4 for Sony. I missed that. Just show some gameplay. Or if you're not gonna do a hands-on demo type thing, kind of going through stuff, do what Ubisoft did. Do what Ubisoft did this year with Watch Dogs 3. Do something. Because CGI trailers, that's not getting us excited. And I get it. I get it from both perspectives. Because, originally and traditionally, I guess you can say traditionally, but originally, E3 has always been, the core focus of E3. It was really for, investors. It was really for journalists, like the games, media, retailers and stuff like that, showing off the products, showing off the game products and stuff that are gonna be sold at stores, and it was just to get hype around the games. Like it's always been a public facing event. It's always been that. But it's only been recently. I want to say it's been like maybe 2 or 3 years that they opened it completely to the public. And it's like, well, now it's basically a full facing public event now. Just like Gamescom and PAX, Comic-Con, all that stuff. So it's like, people are coming. People are coming to your convention, and people are watching at home, waiting for something good. And CGI trailers isn't gonna cut it. It's just not gonna do it. And I just think that this E3 was very dry. Like in terms of just new IPs. I mean, there were new IPs there, and even with Nintendo, like they just didn't show any new IPs really. I mean, you can say, okay, well they had Astral Chain, they had Daemon X Machina, but we saw those games last year. We saw those same exact games last year for Nintendo. I want to see some new IPs. That's why, that's why it kind of bothers me that they keep relying on the same franchises. And even with Ubisoft, right? Even with Ubisoft, and that last game that they showed at the end, CGI trailer for what was it called? Gods and Monsters or something like that? Let me look this up. But I believe it's called Gods and Monsters. It's like, how am I supposed to get hyped for this? I've heard people say that it's going to be something like Legend of Zelda. It's going to be like Breath of the Wild. And it looks like, and I hate to judge it prematurely, but it looks like, it kind of looks like a mobile game. It really does. And this is the CGI trailer for this. I gotta wait till this ad plays out, but if you look at the CGI trailer, it looks like a mobile game. Like I'm happy that Ubisoft is letting one of their developers, letting their group of developers do something different that isn't Assassin's Creed, I'm happy. And it's fun. It's good to see that there's going to be a more fun, more kind of cartoony art style. It does kind of remind you of Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild a little bit with like the art style and stuff like that. But at the same time, it looks like a mobile game almost. But yeah, like the CGI trailers, the lack of gameplay, the lack of Sony. This E3 was one of the worst E3s in a while. It was very dry. Even with like big games like Cyberpunk, like we didn't really get to see gameplay for that. I mean, yeah, we got the big Keanu Reeves announcement. That was cool. But yeah, we didn't get to see not a lot of gameplay. And I feel like that was a problem. And with a lot of developers skipping E3, cause that's another thing. Like Rocksteady, because a lot of these developers like to, if they know they're not coming, they'll go ahead and tell fans outright. And I appreciate that they were telling fans outright, listen, we're not gonna be there this year. Our game not gonna be there. Rocksteady, WB Montreal, so many developers, so many games missing. Like what is Rocksteady doing? What is WB Montreal doing? They're not doing a Superman game. Apparently they're doing some type of DC. It's still gonna be a DC related game, and there is a rumored Batman Court of Owls type thing. But there's just so many missing games. And of course Metroid Prime 4, but we already know why Metroid Prime 4 wasn't there. But there's just so many games that were just missing from this E3. This E3 was very dry. Like I said, pizza without sauce or unseasoned chicken. Whichever thing that you kind of prefer. It's like it was just a terrible E3. Terrible. Even with the announcements that we got, the little announcements that we got, like there were just so many disappointments. Like the Dragon Ball Z game, Dragon Ball Kakarot. The open world looks good, art style looks good, and everything. It's CyberConnect 2, so you know that there's going to be a great presentation and stuff like that. But the combat is lacking. From what I've seen, it's very disappointing. The Avengers game, because I just want to kind of cover a few things here. The Avengers game, I gotta address this, and I was gonna wait and do this in another video, but I'm gonna say it now. Y'all gotta stop complaining about that Avengers game, guys. Stop it. There's absolutely nothing wrong with those character models. I'll defend Square Enix and Crystal Dynamics on this one. There's absolutely nothing wrong with those character models. What it is that we are so used to seeing these characters looking a certain way. We're so used to Robert Downey Jr. as Iron Man, Scarlett Johansson as Black Widow. We're so used to those actors playing those characters, and we're so used to the cartoons and stuff like that. And so when we see these characters, we see these character models, and we're just like, hold on, you're not Robert Downey Jr. That don't look like him. That don't look like Chris Hemsworth. And then y'all are attacking the developers. And I hope that the developers don't change the character models for that game because it looks fine. It looks fine. It's just something that we have to get used to. And there's so much misinformation when it comes to that game. There's so many people that think that it's gonna be like Destiny. It's gonna be like Anthem. And based off of the hands-on impressions and stuff that I've read and seen here, it's not gonna be that. But see, we wouldn't have this confusion. Like, we wouldn't have this confusion, right? If y'all just showed gameplay. We wouldn't have to guess at these things if you guys just showed gameplay. That's all you guys had to do. We know that it's it's not early. Well, it's a year out, so I can't really say it's early, but we know that stuff is gonna change. Like, I'm hoping that next year, developers just show some gameplay. Just show some gameplay. You're not gonna escape criticism, because if your game is terrible, YouTubers are going to destroy you for it. Now, you can come back, you can make your game better, and maybe some people will actually go back to your game, but you gotta put your best foot forward. Because if you're not putting your best foot forward, How am I gonna say, okay, I'm gonna fork over my $60. I know that I'm gonna like this game, or this game looks interesting. Like, that's the whole point of E3, is to build up excitement for your brand, for your games and stuff, and y'all not doing that. And once again, Nintendo won E3, and I'll commend them. It's funny, Reggie Fils-Aimé's gone, right? And I really feel like this was Doug Bowser. This was all his doing. The way that he trolled, the way that they trolled us in that direct, the way that the direct was paced, the games, it just felt like a totally different Nintendo, almost. And if this is the direction that Nintendo is in terms of presentation for the directs going forward, then great. Great. Reggie's gone. Good. Keep him away. You know, cool. But yeah, as far as E3 goes, this was very boring. Well, boring is the wrong word, but it was very dry, very disappointing. You know, there were some games there that, you know, like I said, I'm looking forward to. Avengers, I'm getting that day one. Square Enix's, what was the other Square Enix game? Final Fantasy VII. And that game, Roller Champions, man. We didn't get to see gameplay of that, right? But I looked at Easy Ally's video on it. They had gameplay. That game needs to come to consoles, and I don't know why it's free to play. Make that game $60. Ubisoft, make it $60. Because free to play, I don't know, I'm hesitant. Because when you make something free to play, that means there's got to be a catch somewhere, man. That means that they want you to buy some stuff. You got to grind for some stuff. And I don't like that. The gameplay, this is something that we need. Roller Champions is a game that we need. It's the type of stuff that we need. Something completely different. Like, when's the last time we got a game about rollerblading? And that's another issue. And I apologize if it feels like I'm all over the place. But that's another issue that I kind of have. Because, like, with that game Outriders, what is that supposed to be doing differently? I don't even know what's supposed to be different about this. It looks like, I don't want to say it looks like Gears of War or whatever, but it's just like standard kind of apocalypse shooter. I don't know what the big selling point of that game is. I don't know what that is. And another thing that I gotta mention, like I said, apologies, because I know I'm all over the place. But I'm gonna get everything I want to say out. Cause Bethesda's E3s, I might stop watching their conferences altogether. And I said this to myself. I was thinking this for several years now. But their conferences seem so fake. They don't even have to be saying nothing. They don't even have to be announcing something big. You just hear that one guy in the audience. Woohoo! Yeah! Like, I don't know if these people are drunk. Because I heard that they it's like an open bar or whatever there or whatever. They be getting people mad drunk. But apparently, from what I heard, it's like developers out there in the crowd that are hyping how you hype your own self up? How are y'all hyping your own self up? Because they be making it seem like it's like random people out there in the crowd, like, woohoo, yeah! No, it's freaking developers. It's the developers from that studio hyping their own selves up. That doesn't make any sense. That's faker than what, like, that is very dishonest. It's not genuine at all. And then, like, I've already talked about Microsoft's conference. It eats monsters for breakfast. We'll see, Phil Spencer. We'll see. We'll see. Because a lot of lies here. A lot of lies, a lot of deception when it comes to that console. We'll see. You know, just based off of their track record, but who knows. But yeah, man, this E3's been dry. This E3's been very dry, very disappointing. There's been some games, like I said, there's been some games there that kind of surprised me. That Bleeding Edge game, if y'all see some gameplay for that, that looks kind of fun. That looks fun. I know there's a lot of people critical of it. And here's the thing. Going back to what I said again, just show some gameplay. If they would have shown gameplay at the conference, because they all, come on, Microsoft had to have known. Phil Spencer had to have known that the trailer that they showed was leaked. It was leaked beforehand. And that's another reason why a lot of this stuff didn't really have the impact, was because of the leaks and rumors. You know, that Tales of game, Tales of Arise, that got leaked. There were so many games that got leaked. So this E3, it just felt dry. There was just nothing there. I don't want to say nothing, but it was just, it wasn't good. It wasn't good. But yeah, that's all I gotta say. Hopefully I covered everything I wanted to say. So that's pretty much it. That's pretty much it, man. E3 2019. Very disappointing. We need Sony back, and hopefully they'll probably come back next year. I just don't think they had too much to show. I mean, what else were they gonna really show? You know, The Last of Us 2. Maybe show some gameplay for that. Ghost of Tsushima. I mean, they already got Days Gone out, so they can't really show anything from that. Death Stranding. Like, that's it. That's really it. So maybe they were just saving it for PSX. You know, maybe that's when we're going to get some more gameplay. But yeah, thank you guys for watching. I'm out of here. Peace.